So in Florida, there was a student that was expelled because of the actions of his mother. It wasn't anything that he did. Let's take a look at this story because I think that it is important. When people say that they feel, when people say that they feel like they're unsafe in this country, especially people who are Jewish, I don't hear anybody say the same thing for anybody that may be Arab. If you're Arab and you're in the chat, how do you feel about your safety within this country? Go ahead and let me know. Because the thing is that I'm seeing an influx of things that are against Arabs. And I also want to say this, let's normalize prejudice against Arabs as anti Semitic. Let's normalize that because Arabs are Semites. Let's normalize saying that anything that's anti Arab is anti Semitic because it is. Because if we're going to use words, we want to use words by their definitions. And a Semite is a person or people that is either that speaks Hebrew or Arabic or Aramaic. Arabs speak Arabic. So therefore, they are Semites. So if you're experiencing something that is anti-Arab, then that's anti-Semitic. So in my view, what this school did was anti-Semitic. Real anti-Semitism. Let's take a look here. I love this page, YouTube. I think it's Cuds New York. I'm sorry, Cuds News Network. I'm sorry. And so they do great reporting. It says Jad Abu Hamda got expelled from Pinecrest School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, due to his mother's post about Palestine on her social media accounts. Let's get into it.
I'm disappointed and I'm sad.
15-year-old Jade Abugamda, speaking at a news conference with his mother, insists he did nothing wrong.
If they said I did something, but it wasn't bad, even that didn't happen. I just didn't do anything at all.
Abugamda has attended Pinecrest School in Fort Lauderdale since first grade. Last month, the school fired his mother, Maha Al-Masri, a Palestinian-American woman who had been a math tutor at Pinecrest, and expelled her son.
Sad for my child, who was deprived of finishing his high school career.
It's all because...
Now, let me ask you this. Is that fair? Is it fair to expel a student because of the actions of his parent? Let's say, I can speak from this from experience because my mother was employed with the school system for many years. And when I was in middle school, my mother actually worked at my middle school. If my mother were to do anything wrong while I was in school, would that deem me being expelled from school for the actions of my mother? Even though I had nothing to do with it, I had no influence over what happened, over her actions. Is that fair? I'd argue it is not fair. Let's get into what she did that was so bad according to the school. And I'll show you guys exactly what was posted on social media.
It's all because of a series of posts on her personal Instagram account that the school deemed hateful and incendiary. In a statement, Pinecrest School says that Maha's post included an image of a soldier pointing a machine gun at an infant inside of an incubator and an image with commentary suggesting that some wanted to roast babies in an oven.
So let me share that actual particular meme or picture that was shown, because a lot of people are going, oh my God, that's horrible. It is an illustration, it's a drawing. And let me share. So let me see. Can I show this without it being hang on. So here it is. So if you guys can see kind of clearly, I had to pause it so that you guys can see. But there's this picture with a baby in an incubator, right? There is an IDF soldier because he has the patch, the Israeli flag. And the caption says, but do you condemn Hamas? Now, let me ask you the question. Where's the lie? Where is the lie? Because the thing is that what actually happened in Gaza? Did they not cut off food, fuel, electricity, and water? Did they not cut it all off? Were hospitals in Gaza not bombed by the IDF? Were they not? Also, let me ask you this. Was she expressing any type of hatred towards Jewish people? See, that's the issue. People will equate a state with a nationality or an ethnicity. If I criticize South Africa, does that make me racist? If I criticize Uganda, does that make me racist? Because if that's the case, if that is what it is, then my criticisms of the anti-LGBTQ policies of Uganda should make me racist. It shouldn't. If you're a white person and you're criticizing what's going on in Ethiopia or Sudan or Burkina Faso or Madagascar, then sorry, by their metric, you're racist. By that metric. So she shared that. That's what was on her Instagram. But here's the point. Her son got expelled. Her son paid the price for something that he never did. Let's go back to the report.
None of my posts were inciting violence.
The mother and son, along with their attorney, spoke at the Council of American Islamic Relations of Florida.
This is about Jad's expulsion. He did nothing, but is suffering consequences, we feel, just by association.
The school responded with a statement saying, the student handbook and enrollment agreement make clear that if a parent engages in behavior that is disruptive, intimidating, or overly aggressive, the school may take the action that it deems necessary to address the situation.
But here's the thing. How is keeping that student in school disruptive, intimidating? or aggressive. Like, how is keeping the student there? I get if you have your policy and you need to let the teacher go, even though I think it's dumb because that was on her personal Instagram account and it wasn't inciting any violence and it wasn't anything hateful against a people. It's against the government and their policies. Let me ask you this. If she had did the same thing against Palestinians, would she still have her job? If it was the DPRK, the North Korean government, what she posted something about, would she also have still kept her job? What if it was Cuba, Venezuela, Russia, right? What if it was those countries? What would she still have been fired? If it was China, she could be tagged with xenophobia, right? If it was Russia, she could have been tagged with Russophobia. If it were DPRK, North Korea, she could be tagged with Asian hate. It will be justified by these metrics. It will be justified. If it were Cuba, it could be justified as anti-Latino hate. If it were Libya, it would be anti-African hate. So, by that very metric, everyone who is posted about a country is guilty of prejudice and bigotry against a racial group. And yet, because it was against who? Israel. Oh, she got to go. And her son has to go too. Even though he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. But yet they can have that in their handbook and apply it to him, even though it's not his fault. Sounds similar to collective punishment to me. Actions punishing somebody for the actions of another.
Our main concern is not only with Jad and his mother. Our main concern is suppressing the right of Americans to express what they feel within their heart is to be decent human rights.
It's the people I see in the hallways, the people I can smile at when I'm walking to class. And that was taken away from me.
According to the news reports, he still hasn't been back to school since this came out because he's expelled. Now, some people say, well, this is a private school. See, this is one of the reasons why I do not like private schools. I'm going to be real with you. This is why I think all schools should be public. This is why I believe in public education. Because guess what? Education is a right. So therefore, why are we privatizing it? It's just not. And everybody should have the top-notch education in this country. That's what sucks. This is why I'm against for-profit education. Because if this were a public school, then the teacher or the mother that was a tutor I think the most that she probably would have gotten was a suspension. And nobody would have touched the student because it's literally his education and it's literally his right to education. But this also goes to the stain of privatized education, because the moment you do something that's still within your right as a citizen, you can get kicked out. You can get expelled. Your right to an education can be denied because of privatization. This is why when it comes to even colleges and universities, especially a lot of these Ivy League schools, these private colleges, this is why they're able to kick people out so easily, because it's private. And you have these people who are conservative who want to gut and get rid of public education. Why? So that you can dole out education to people who you deem deserve instead of it actually being a right. And that's the issue of capitalism. Because once you hook education to profit motive, then that means that some people are going to be deemed worthy of it, but others are not going to be deemed worthy of education. When in reality, it is a universal right. So this 15-year-old boy who's been going to this school since the first grade. It's not like, oh, he spent a year at this school, 2 years at this school. And no. And a lot of this kid has literally grown up in this institution. And you just rip that away from him. And some people will go, well, he can always go to a public school now. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, yeah, but and unfortunately, because the way of our system is so lopsided, that typically kids who actually go to a private school because of funding, because private schools have a lot more funding and are able to do a lot better, well, he's probably further ahead than kids in public schools. And plus, this is Florida. Have you guys seen Florida public schools? I'm a product of Florida public education. Anywho, so that's the thing. So he might be further ahead, and so he may not be able to do as well in the public school setting because, well, they typically gut the education system. Which is why we need to fully fund public education much better. So it's just wild to me that they actually did this to this kid. All because his mom posted some stuff that was her opinion, that was not hateful, and that was not violent. But he got punished for it. It's weird.